Okay, what is we learned the Rebbe is teaching us the importance of the Shabbat right before Tisha B'Av, and that it comes to remind us of a very essential detail of reality, very essential detail, namely the goal of reality, the goal why we're all here. What's the whole point? The whole point is to bring Mashiach. Mashiach will be a person, and Mashiach will cause these amazing, amazing, amazing changes in our whole value system and what we think is important, and especially feeling the creator of the universe and the importance of his Torah and his commandments. Tremendous joy, the whole world will be fixed up. And that's what it says, that on the Shabbat, right before Tisha B'Av, that we're given a vision of the third temple. So that's what it says, especially this Shabbat. And on Shabbat, we read Ve'et Hanan. Ve'et Hanan is how Moses prayed 515 prayers to come to the land of Israel. And even though he was not answered immediately, but these prayers stand and they help us. They help our prayers, because one of the big goals of the Mashiach, and only Mashiach is going to be able to do it, is to draw all the Jews to Israel. And these prayers of Moshe, they help. So the Rebbe wants us to feel how imminent, and not just possible, how tremendously important it is. You know, it's like a building is burning down, and someone runs out and says, please run in and save the people. And the people are standing on the street, and they're saying, they just want to say, hey, the nice shoes you got there. Where'd you get those shoes? The building is burning down. Come and help the building, right? Come and save the people, right? I can't take care of it. Follow me, go into the building. They said, but answer my question, where'd you buy those shoes, the really nice shoes, you know? Somebody says, hey, what are you looking at the shoes for? Look at that jacket he's got. What are you going on? Well, that's what's going on. The Rebbe is trying to say, hey, everyone, listen. We can save the whole world. The Mashiach is here. We have to wait for it. And everybody's saying, oh, man, you know, I got a couple. How'd you make so much money on your bank account? How did you get that deal? You know, they're gone. People are thinking about things that are just really not, you know, they're not. And the Rebbe's trying to get us interested in something that's really, really important. And really, that's really essential. So the Rebbe says, in fact, we have a prophecy that says, just like a person could say, what am I getting excited? Good, if a building is burning down, you can see the building. I don't see anything. What's wrong? I don't see anything. What am I supposed to get excited about? So the Rebbe said, if you learned Chassidut, you would understand a little bit about how the world is supposed to be, and that's just waiting for us, and how that for some strange reason that we're not excited about it. It just depends on us getting really sort of excited about it. And that, would you say that you don't see any changes? Well, that's the idea of Mashiach. He's going to usher in huge miracles. And true miracles. But from all this movement, it's understood, the biggest miracle of all is all the Jewish people will turn to God and start doing Torah and the commandments. All the Jewish people. Moving from all this, it's understood that this time and this place, now it is the most proper and propitious time for bringing the Mashiach, right now. And of course, my Yetzer Hora tells me, and maybe yours also tells you, I hope not, come on, the Rebbe said this in 1991, that's 30 years ago. And the Rebbe said, oh, Mashiach's coming right now, right? And we see that it didn't exactly happen. I mean, sure, you can say, like I say, the Rebbe is the Mashiach, and we're just waiting for the Geula, etc. But here, what the Rebbe said is the coming of the Mashiach. Okay, Mashiach, there's the coming of the Mashiach, means the future redemption has to be here. Right? It has to be here. But, Jews have been saying this for the last 2,000 years, at least. And every generation, there's somebody who is the Mashiach of that generation. So what's going on? Why? So what's the answer? The answer is that's part of the world. That is taking time, that's God's business. That's part of the world. The world puts all sorts of doubts in our mind. But the Rebbe says, but I'm telling you the truth. You have reasons not to believe the truth? Good, that's the way it's always been. That's the world. The world covers over the truth. This means you have to have faith. You don't see it with your eyes. You don't hear it with your ears. Says the Rebbe, Yehudi Ma'amin, every Jew believes, Be'emunah Shlema, with a complete belief that nothing can deter. Shemashiach Tzidkenu, the Mashiach Melech Mebeis David, a king from the house of King David. Hugo b'Torah, that he learns Torah, knows the whole Torah, Osek b'mitzvahs, does all the commandments, and he tries to convince and bring all the Jews to do that. And then after that, his goal is Mashiach Vadai, that what? He'll succeed in his efforts. If he just tries, anyone who tries to do these things, he's considered to be Mashiach. Anyone who succeeds, then you know that you were right. This is certainly Mashiach. If he does so and he succeeds and builds the Holy Temple in its place, and he gathers the Jewish people together, it says there's a Gemara. It's in Sanhedrin. They always quote all the time that the Amoraim, the great Torah scholars, they sat and they said, what is the name of Mashiach? And one said the Mashiach's name is Yanai, and one of them says Menachem, and one said, so it says that each one said that his rabbi was the Mashiach. In other words, each one of their rabbis had this goal and actively activated this goal of learning the whole Torah, doing all the commandments, and trying to convince all the Jewish people to do the same. All of their rabbis had this goal and did it. So they're all considered to be Mashiach. So you can pick whichever you want. If you find anybody like that, then you can say this person is probably the Mashiach, and I'm going to do what he wants. Does the whole Torah? Doing the whole Torah means you have to love every Jew also. So you can do that, but the one who finally builds the base of Mikdash, etc., that's for sure the Mashiach. But in any case, until then, anyone who has these qualities, that he knows the whole Torah, he's learning the Torah constantly, he does all the commandments according to the Torah Shabbal Peh, Torah Shabbos, and he's trying to bring all the Jews to do the same thing. In order to do that, he fights any battles that deter or weaken Judaism, and he strengthens anything that strengthens Judaism. A person like that, you have to follow him, what he says, if there's a person like that, until he's proven to be not Mashiach. But the goal of it is to bring, says the Rebbe, now is the time, right now. And says the Rebbe, not only that Nichnas Khan Beit Hamikdash, he'll come in right here. The Rebbe's talking about 770. He'll come in right now to the 770, and he'll come and he'll redeem us, and taking all of the Jews standing up to the land of Israel. U'molichet kol ben Israel. He'll take all of the Jewish people to the Holy Land, Yerushalayim, Yer HaKodesh, Har HaKodesh, Beis HaMikdash. We did this yesterday, but it still has to be done today. Like we said, immediately mamish. Berega zeh mamish, at this second, Shabbos Tisha B'Av, Kach Asiri, and how much more so in the 10th day of Av. The 10th day will be holy. It'll already be holy. It'll transform to a Yom Tov V'Sasam V'Simcha. Now, especially nowadays, this is not really that hard to believe. I mean, if someone, let's say that there's a lot of really big, well-known Jews that are in politics and they're in the media and in show business and in whatever this, and if they all of a sudden stood up and they said, "Listen, friends, I'm putting on tefillin from now on. I'm doing all the commandments." That's real Jewish identity. That's real Jewish identity. For sure, there's going to be people that are going to say, "Me too." Other people, "Me too." All of a sudden, in the newspapers, there's big miracles, right? The Iranians tried to shoot atom bombs, missiles at us, and none of the missiles worked. They just can't figure out what to do, and they're afraid to go and try to fix it because they're afraid the whole thing is going to blow up. Nobody knows what to do. All of a sudden came a person, the Lubavitcher Rebbe came, and he gave him advice what to do, but only on condition that they never make war again against anybody. And they said they agree. And that's it. And all of a sudden the big heads of this religion and the heads of that religion, they say, okay, fellas, we made a big mistake. God is the God of Israel, and the Torah is the only book that's true. And He's creating us. God is creating us. We can serve the Creator. This is the most happy news of all. It can happen in one day. Now with the media and the news and this, in one day, 1 second, right? People are waiting. The whole world is waiting for something true. Because it's so empty and meaningless, we see all the craziness that's going on in the world now. And everybody, individuals, even the leaders. Of course, there are going to be people, diehards, that they're going to want war, and they're going to want destruction, and they're going to want to kill, and there's going to be Nazis, whoever they are, and they just love death. And those people were going to have to be eliminated. But everybody else in the world, which is 99.9999% of the world, they're going to say, sure, all we want is just good lives. That's all. Just to be happy and love everybody. That's a wonderful thing. Everybody would love that. Kafisha Torah hi b'shosha, because that's what it says. That's the level of the Allah has come. How much more so if it can be done on the 9th day of Av, which is going to be this Sunday, and for sure on the 10th day of Av. How much more so the 11th day of Av? That the 11th day of Av is a special day. It's considered to be Echad Asar Yom Michorev. That's how the parsha begins with. 11 days from Mount Sinai. Matan Torah. 11 days from Matan Torah. That's how this Torah portion begins. That's the revelation of Keter. Keter is the number 11, above the 10 Sfirot. Kafi Shatorah, like the Torah is in its source. Like it says, a new Torah is going to be given. We'll feel the godliness of the Torah even more than we felt it on Mount Sinai. L'mayla mi eser Sfirot, above the 10 Sfirot. And together with this, it'll take all the other 10 Sfirot, and the whole entire creation will feel this oneness of God. Now, what's the Rebbe talking about over here? These are all things that God is going to do. But He's only going to do it if we're in some way ready for it. Because in some way, we're saying, Hashem, let the miracles rip. We don't want the world to be the way it is now. The world now is bad. Make the world good. Make the world good. And the Rebbe is saying that it'll happen in 1 second. Uba'avod, all the things that, communism promised and Freud promised, and all these people, that there's going to be health and there's going to be wealth and there's going to be happiness and equality and liberty and fraternity and brotherhood and love and this and all these wonderful slogans that all these people have made up, they'll all really be here. They'll all be actually because it's within our reach, says the Rebbe. But it's going to require a miracle, and that miracle is just waiting. And every day, every second is a propitious time. Uba'avodas Adam, what does it mean? What are we supposed to do? This is the idea of birchas Torah. We just have to concentrate what we're saying when we make a blessing. Asher natan lanu et Torato, that God gave us His Torah. What do you mean His Torah? God gave us Torah Shel Kodesh Baruch Hu. God gave us the Torah is the book written directly by God. Chemda Ganuza, it's God's hidden precious treasure. Va'ad kafish araita v'kodesh baruch hu, to the level that even it says the Torah, araita is the Torah, and God are totally one. Shebo v'nimshacha achakach b'prati inyani Torah, that this comes into the details of the Torah that a Jew learns with the 10 powers of his soul. That's the number 11. And similarly, there's the revelation in the 11th day and every month. How much more so the 11th day of the month of Av? In other words, what's the Rebbe saying? The 9th day of Av, that's when Moshiach was born. For sure He should reveal. And the 10th day, that's even higher. And the 11th day, that's even higher than that. For sure He should reveal Himself there. Shekashuri Magu'ula. The whole month of Av is the month of redemption, like we said before. It's the month the Jewish people, it says, what did it say? That it's the month where the lion came and destroyed the lion, and the month of the lion. Nebuchadnezzar is the lion, and he destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, is the lion, in the month of the lion, which is Av. In order there will come the lion, which is God, in the month of the lion, which is of this month, and he'll rebuild the lion, which is the holy temple. Ve'im gilui the Torah chadasha mi'teitzeitze, and there'll be a revelation of what's called the new Torah. What does it mean, the new Torah? New Torah means shleimus agilui, the completion, the true revelation of the number 11. The 11, the essence of the godliness in every word of the Torah, in every commandment that we do. Atzmuto, God's essence. Ubofen ki teitze, Torah mi teitze, it'll come out. It'll be drawn into every single detail of the world. Alachat kam v'kama, it's more so. There will be the redemption in the days after the 11th. The 11th of it. On Yom Sheni, when the Rebbe said this, it was Tisha B'Av fell on Sunday. On Shabbat. On Shabbat. So he's saying, therefore, the 9th day of Av Mashiach should come. Yom Rishon is the 10th day of Av. Yom Sheni is the 11th day of Av. Kiflayim, the Erev HaYiboker. Yom Shlishi, that there's double good. Kaflayim L'Toshia. That this idea of double is connected to the redemption, like it says the last letters of the double letters, Mansapach. It says there's a big man and a small man. Anyway, that's connected to the Geula. What does it say? Pakadati. It says God said, I will redeem you. Double is connected to the redemption. That's the third day, Tuesday, huh? No. Yes, Tuesday. Tuesday is the third day. It says when God made the world, on the first day he made light, the second day he made division, on the third day it says he said it was good, and God saw it was good. He said 2 times good. So that's double. That hints also at the redemption. What about the fourth day, Wednesday, which Yom Revi? That's the wife. When God made the days of the week, so he coupled every day with a couple. Yom Rishon got Yom Revi. Yom Sheni got Yom Chamishi. Yom Shlishi got Yom Shishi. He says that's the pair of Yom Rishon. Then there's Yom Chamishi. That's the Ben Zug. That's the wife of the set of Yom Sheni. And Yom Shishi, that's the Ben Zug of Yom Shlishi. So all the good things we said about the first day of the week, second day of the week, third day of the week, that those second day of the week, it says, is double. Third day of the week is double good. This is all those things, we can apply them also to the last 3 days of the week, because those last 3 days of the week, God married them with the first 3 days of the week. It says in a midrash. And Shabbat, it says he married to the Jewish people. Allah, how much more so this Yom Shishi, which is the 15th day of. Okay, next week, not this week, there's going to be the 15th day of Av. The 15th day of Av is going to fall down on Shabbos by us, not on Yom Shishi, like the Rebbe is saying, because this was said in 1991. Then the 15th day of Av, it says is the happiest day of the year, Tu B'Av. This is the day when the moon is complete, and it shines up the whole month of Av. And the Jewish people are similar they're compared to the moon, and they're going to be renewed like the moon. Okay, what did the Rebbe do over here? The Rebbe is just trying to say that everything that happens, even the numbers, the dates of the month, the days of the year, can all be interpreted for something good. They're assigned for something good. And one of the big accomplishments and goals of Hasidut Chabad, maybe we can even say the only goal, is to see the good in everything. And in order to do that, we have to have sometimes a whole new set of a system, perception of values and new things. Right? A person can come and you can see a child comes to school and he's dirty and he's this, he's too. But you say, yes, but look, when he hears music, look how his eyes light up. Oh, this I never thought about. What type of music? Right? He hears music, his eyes light up. When he sees somebody smile, he smiles back. something good can be found in everything. And from that little bit of good, it can be opened up. And if there is no good found in the other thing, so you believe that there is good. It's a very big principle in Chassidut in general, and it's also very proved. Professor Viktor Frankl, this is a very big principle that there's something lovable inside of everybody. Love is finding something valuable in another person. Finding something indescribably valuable in another person. Unique, that's the word he uses. Finding something uniquely valuable in another person. That's the word. And if you don't find it, then you have to believe that it's there. So a child comes into school and he's a real dunce, doesn't know anything. And you say to him, you know, Johnny, you're really smart. I see you have a different way of thinking than everybody else. And you try to find some way, what's one banana and another banana? It's two bananas. And he asks the question, does that work with apples? That is a good question. That is a good question. Oh, he feels proud. Suddenly it brings out I was praised because of my wisdom. It brings out a new wisdom from him. Everything, to find the good in everything. And the Rebbe is finding it good, and not just in every person, which maybe that's the most difficult thing, but also in the world, in time, in the date of the month, the day of the week, the time, the hour of the day. Hagam, even though Sha'ani Mamin, that I have to believe that Mashiach is going to come right now. And the Torah tells a Jew, Sha'alav Tamid Lasod, Ed Avodotakam Kadaboy. Even though Mashiach is supposed to come, don't think that means I don't have to do anything. The Torah tells us that a Jew has to serve God in a complete way, according to what it is right now. Right? Build buildings, make institutions, make plans for the next 100 years. That's what you have to do. God will do his. At the same time, you're expecting Mashiach is going to come and it'll be okay. You have to make the proper, and also you have to make the proper preparations for coming Mashiach. No, right. So you have to live a normal life and try to improve the world in a normal way. And Mashiach is going to come miraculously. He's going to make everything improved. You should believe this 100%, and it has to come. But at the same time, you have to live in the two different dimensions simultaneously. And Mashiach is going to come, and he'll make the whole thing workable. Your energy will not go to waste. Karugia, like we said, that now people should make good resolutions. And they should add on in everything in Torah and commandments and spreading out Judaism and spreading out Chassidut. Spreading out Judaism means encouraging people to put on tefillin, etc. Spreading out Chassidut means learning Chassidut with people. The ideas of the Rebbes. The Rebbes are Mashiach. V'nog lahakdim, and it is custom to precede and to add on that before you say everything, you should say, right, okay, I'm going to learn another more Torah. I'm going to learn Torah. I'm going to say it a lot. I'm going to go to more classes. I'm going to pray with a minyan. I'm going to learn the meanings of the words of davening. And before you make all these resolutions, first of all, you should say, Bli Neder. But before that, you're supposed to say, if, God forbid, Mashiach should delay, then tomorrow I'm going to learn more Torah. Tomorrow I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I'm promising I'm going to go. Mashiach is going to come. He's going to change the whole business to a certain degree. I have to wait that he's going to come every single day. So automatically, Mavhirim, we have to make clear all of my resolutions, my good resolutions that I'm making, they're on condition that if God forbid Mashiach should delay. Ube'emed, really, after becoming Mashiach, says that the world will be the same as it was before. Just the bad things will be gone. After Mashiach comes, there will be Yishar v'yeh, there will be a continuation of Torah and doing the commandments and all these good resolutions that we made in the time of exile. And even though it could happen 1 second, there's going to be a big change. You do it like it's explained, the Maimar Chazal. Ashrei Misha Bo Lakan v'Talmud biyado. Like it's as happy as the one who comes. Here it's talking about after a person dies, but it's also talking about after Mashiach comes. That's the true idea of Olam Haba. the coming of Mashiach, the raising of the dead. Shehachana v'kli, that the preparation and the vessel for all of these revelations in heaven, and after your person dies, and also the revelations that will be in the Geula, in the future redemption. How is this? By means of Talmud Biyado, learning Torah now. Sheruba kashur b'zamanu makam galus, that it means what we did in the time of exile. By means of this, we can take the Torah into heaven, into Gan Eden. We'll take our Torah in the time when Mashiach comes. Very important to understand that we will not lose our identity. We will have our identity, but the negative things in our identity, our selfishness and our false egotism and all of our lusts and the frustrations and things that really motivate us, those things won't be here anymore, because those are false motivations. Even though that in Gan Eden and after the Geula, it says it's going to be the opposite of the time of exile, nevertheless, all the good things will remain. Al-Derek says similarly, in the whole service of God nowadays, it says that Tachlit Hashlemo Tazeb Yamot Mashiach and Tchiyat Hametim, this whole thing that we're talking about of the coming of Mashiach and the raising of the dead, that's in the what is it, the 37th chapter of the Tanya. It all depends on what we do now. Meshech HaGalut. Until She'Geula Nasi Davka, the future redemption will be not just by sitting around and waiting for it, we said, you have to put the Aleph, the Alufa Shel Olam, into the Gola. Remember we said that before? We have to do it. We have to bring this Aleph into the exile, but the exile is the main thing. What should we actually do? Like it says in Shabbat Chazon, what does the Haftorah say? It says that Zion will be redeemed by Mishpat, by Torah, and the Shavel, we just finished learning, and the prisoners by Tzedakah, which means kindness, acts of kindness, charity, the commandments. Mishpat, that refers to the Torah. Tzedakah, that refers to all the commandments and giving charity that we have to add on in these days. Learning Torah, doing the commandments, and especially the commandment of giving charity. You used to give $1 to the poor person, give $2 to the poor person. You used to give nothing to this person because you think he's a liar, give him $1. Heichel b'yom Shabbos zeh, beginning in this Shabbos. How much more so? Motzi Shabbos, Yom Rishon. Immediately you should add on more Torah and doing more commandments, giving more charity. And in learning Torah itself, like we said before this, we learned last week, here is the place again to remind everyone and rouse everybody that if, God forbid, the Mashiach delays, then we should continue. And we should continue with joy and with a new resolution and power. Every day should be brand new. That we should have siyumim in the Masechet Shas, that we should try to finish the tractates of the Talmud and finish them in public in these days. And even on Shabbat, in this Shabbat, and afterward, Motzi Shabbat, and Yom Rishon, every day you should have a siyum. There's some groups, like I said, that even make meals, feasts. I know we're a little bit late, but just a couple of minutes. Because all the days until the 15th day of Av, they are in a connection and at they're one connection with Tisha B'Av. So therefore, if Mashiach delays in all of these days, so it comes out that all of these siyumim, the Talmud tractates that we finish, will be the days after this until the 15th day of Av. So the Rebbe says, don't just stop on Tisha B'Av, this idea of finishing a tractate of the Talmud. Each person, one person finishes Shabbat, and one person finishes Ketuvot, and one person, you make what's called a siyum. Every day until Tisha B'Av, says the Rebbe, you know what? If the Mashiach doesn't come, draw it out until the 15th of Av. And it should be giving charity. making and if possible, make a little meal afterwards. We should advertise this everywhere it's possible, even in the places where they already do this, in the days which are before Tu B'Av, right? That they're doing, that they should continue making siyums, right? Completions of tractates of Talmud and a little meal or something afterwards, and giving charity up till Tu B'Av, including Tu B'Av, 15th day of Av. And it should be an additional life, additional power, how much more so in places where they're not doing this yet. Advertise it, tell other religious Jews that that's what they should do. Try in public to make siyums of the Shas every single day. And now let's go to Hayom Yom. Hayom Yom. Where's the thing? Here we go. So what did we learn today? We learned Mashiach is much more imminent and immediate than we can possibly imagine. What happened over here? What's this? Here we go. Oh. Something's wrong with my... No. Gotta put batteries in this or something. 1 second. Hayom Yom. Here we go. The Baal Shem Tov said, every single thing that is permissible to use has good and bad elements. The physical is usually bad, and the godly life force which is creating this thing is good. Right? You have a hot dog that's kosher, it's 100% good, and you but nevertheless the externality of it is bad. A person can get addicted to hot dogs. Right? It's a good thing, but not too many hot dogs. Right? If you eat this hot dog because you're hungry on Yom Kippur, you eat that, it's bad. On the other hand, the godliness which is inside of it, if you use it for a purposeful, a godly a thing according to the Torah, then it's good. The person utilizing the physical has to turn from evil, not desire just the physical pleasure which is in the material of this, for instance, a hot dog or your car or whatever, and he has to do good. He has to desire to be nourished and supported by the godly life force in that object. Seek peace and pursue it. Whoever for fears turn from evil and do good has to seek and pursue means for making peace between the physical and the godly force that vitalizes it. What's he mean? You have to turn from bad and you have to do good. But on the other hand, the purpose of life is not just to turn from bad. The physicality of a thing is bad, but you have to use the physicality of it, not just the spirituality, the physicality of the thing for good. And when you do that, then the physical itself can be good. Right? You look at a hot dog, you don't say, wow, the taste, how the juicy of it. You think, oh, now when I eat a hot dog, now I can go about business. I can earn money in my store and give charity. I can do commandments. I can learn Torah. I feel better when I learn when I eat a hot dog. I feel more at peace with myself. On the other hand, if you think, wow, a hot dog, really good taste. Oh, I love this taste, and you're just going after the taste, then that brings you down. But here's the Rebbe saying, true, you can avoid this being brought down, but that's not the reason why we're here in the world. We're here in the world to elevate the world, and by stressing the godliness which is inside, the godly purpose inside of this. For example, hot dog, that it gives me nourishment, it gives me, I'm satisfied. Now I can learn Torah, I can do commandments, etc. Have a good day with Mashiach now. 3 o'clock, God willing. We're continuing to learn the Haftorah, the prophecy of Isaiah, and also we will begin with God's help the book of Eicha, the Lamentations that we read on Tisha B'Av. Shalom. Have a good day yourself. Shalom.